he will decide what space does he require, how many bits and how many data needs to be processed and everything. What application is using that memory. So all those things.
Any other answers? Any other ideas? So this is not wrong, but any other ideas?
So actually, depending on the specification of the customer, so we decide that how we want our memory. Like we want a high density or a low leakage memory.
थोड़ा सा और रेयान.
Sir, it will completely depend on the application requirement. Like if it is a space-oriented application, then we may require low leakage memory. And so depending on the application, we will decide high density, low leakage, high speed.
Okay. Application is one aspect. Another very important aspect is where is this memory being used in the overall system hierarchy.
Yes,
For
sir.
example, For example, if it is L1 cache, what do we need?
SRAM.
High speed.
Yeah, SRAM. But we need high speed. We need the
Yes.
L1 cache
Yeah,
to operate
yeah.
at the same speed as the processor. But if it is L2 cache or L3 cache, what is the primary objective there?
High density.
High density. Because L2 cache and L3 caches, huge capacity is there on chip. So for example, the AMD Ryzen chip, so the processor chip that AMD has, Ryzen series, it has 8 megabytes, which is 64 megabits of L3 cache. It has 4 megabytes of L2 cache. So just imagine the kind of memory that is required to be put there, and you cannot have a large memory cell there. The primary objective of designing those L3 caches and L2 caches is high density. Because you know that to access L2 or L3 cache, the system will anyway give you multiple cycles. So speed is not really a concern. But when you're working on an L1 cache, so it has a huge amount of L1 cache also on it. But when you're working on the L1 cache, you see that you can actually do away with density a bit, but you really want better speed because the memory has to operate at the same speed as the processor. Okay, and that is the reason why we need different kinds of optimizations. But all these three kinds of memories, L1 cache, L2 cache, L3 cache, all these three memories which are on chip that we're talking about, what kind of memory are they? Typically.
Volatile.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, so typically volatile they always are. Typically they are SRAMs. In server class systems where you need still higher capacity of L3 cache, for example, or if it happens such that embedded DRAM is a better option than L3 cache, SRAM based cache, then L3 cache could be DRAM. Otherwise, L1 and L2 cache will continue to be SRAMs. Okay, and these SRAMs are typically how many transistors in one cell?
6
transistors. So we towards the last part of DVD course, we had a quick glimpse of what a 60 cell looks like. Today we will look at how to arrive at that 60 cell. Is that okay?
So before we do that, I have a doubt from the data sheet. Actually, I was going through the complete data sheet. So actually, I got the answer for that 50% activity in a write cycle, which I was discussing in the last class.
Yes.
So they actually do it for those things. I mean, I had a doubt, they had given a timing closure for scan chains specifically. I mean, what exactly? I mean, is it kind of similar to a test pattern kind of a thing that you give some kind of input combinations to test some functionality or something like that?
Yeah, so we'll discuss about scan chains in the later part of the course, Swapnil. These are test features which are embedded onto SRAMs to improve their testability.
Is it similar to BIST?
BIST is a kind of a controller that would trigger the memory in a particular way and see its output. Okay, scan. I'm not sure how many of you have ever heard about scan also. So as you will continue to pursue with the VDF course, you will hear about scan more often, and that would also be the right time to discuss scan. But scan is a test method. It's a test method so that we can test combinational logic much faster and at much lower power than or with much higher coverage than otherwise.
Okay.
Okay. So you will cover this scan test in VDF course, I think, in a little more detail than this. But we will also talk about scan later in this course.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So should
Sir,
we move ahead? Yes,
I
Ryan.
also have a question regarding the datasheet. So they have divided the memory into three parts: right, left, and center. Is there a specific reason for that?
Yes, we'll talk about it. We will talk about it. Let us talk about it at when do we talk about it? और चलो अभी बात कर लेते हैं, because it is reasonably simple to understand why do you want to split the array into two parts. So just give me a minute. Have we covered the? We have already covered the signal flow. Yes.
Sir, just to remind you, we also have to cover that mux part today.
Which mux part?
So that mux 1, mux 8, that day you were having some issue with your
Yes.
laptop.
So we can cover that right away.
Okay, sir.
I'm already going to whiteboard. Are you able to see my whiteboard?
Not yet.
No, sir.
Okay. Mhm. So there seems to be some issue. Just give me a moment. It seems that my Chrome has got hanged. I'm sorry, I had to exit because Chrome had got hanged. Just give me a moment. We had whiteboard on Chrome on this also, no?
Firefox, yes.
Yes. So are you able to see the whiteboard? Did you receive a whiteboard request?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please join the whiteboard. So let us first handle the first question. What we were saying was that, see, in the last class we had seen that a memory looks something like this. Am I right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
A memory we saw in the last class looks something like this. But what happens is that if you put the right drivers, so what is the right driver? Right driver is finally a buffer somewhere. Hai na? Over here, it has to drive a full R and has a huge capacitance that it needs to drive. Are you with me? However, if I say that instead of putting the right driver in the edge of it, we will put the right driver and the control somewhere in the center. What happens? R on each side is R by 2 and C on each side is C by 2. Are you with me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So now in this case, then what happens is that your overall RC delay reduces. And when RC delay reduces, your overall, you can speed up the memory. Also, very importantly, what you can also do is you can have better slopes, and therefore the dynamic power consumption can also be reduced. Is that fine? So that is one reason why the memory is split from the center. Does this help? I see not the entire class is still on the Jamboard. Those who are not there can still join. Are you facing some trouble? Hello?
So can you repeat how like you have splitted this? I joined late. Little.
So instead of having sorry. So instead of having the row decoder on the side and it driving the entire full word line, we just made the row decoder in the center. That's
Okay,
all we
sir.
did.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Okay. Shakin, you're not able to view the Jamboard? Shakin?
So now he joined.
Okay. So I get that. So with this then, is it okay if I move to the, we had to look at the marks part. So how do we add another page? Oh, this is page? No. We have to
Just
clear
click
the
the
frame.
next. No, just click the next arrow and the top of the left, where it is showing the one by one.
Okay, I get that. Thank you. So I'm using Jamboard for the first time because it was the Chrome was crashing whenever I used whiteboard, even in the last class also. So I thought, let us try with Jamboard now. So now let us come talk about the use of mux. Let me write it better. So let us say you want a memory which has 32K words and 32 bits. Can we have such a request? 32K cross 32 kind of a memory? If it's a 32-bit processor, each word would have 32 bits, and we're talking about 32K words. The depth of the memory is 32K. Is that okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So, what we are then saying is that we want 32 words, but there are 32K rows. What this means is that I will have this kind of a memory, where this is 32,000 and this is only 32. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So do you think we can use this kind of a memory? What would happen to the bitline delays?
Sir, it is
Bitline
2001
capacitance is huge.
dimension.
Bitline capacitance is huge. The delays that you will have in this memory will be humongous. Additionally, if you want to place this kind of a memory into a SoC, you will see that you will not really be able to place it, because to be able to place it, it will then go out of the SoC area. So what do? We say, okay, let us fold the memory. So when we fold the memory, we say it has 16K rows and 64 columns. Now 16K rows is also huge. But what has happened? Now there are two words in every row. There is word 0 and there is word 1. Then below that there would be word 2 and word 3, and so on. Are you with me? Is this clear? So when I fold the memory, every row now has more than one word in it. Hello?
Yes, sir.
So what do? We say that this is mux 2. Why? Because at the output, now we will need to implement a mux which will take inputs from these two words, and depending on the LSB of the address, give one output at Q. Is this part clear?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? So, tell me one thing. Is this Jamboard also visible in Google Meet?
No, sir.
It would be
So
when you will present your screen.
it would then not record. Am I right?
Sir, it will record.
Jamboard will be recorded just like any other part?
Sir, if you present your screen.
Okay.
So what you'll have to do is that you present your screen and then from settings open the jam.
Yes, sir.
That
Now
also you
it's
can do.
Okay. Is it fine now?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Now you must
Yes,
be
sir.
able to see jam from my screen also.
Yes.
So,
yes.
wait. I wanted to present only jam. Okay. Now, are you able to see the jam only?
Yes.
Or are you able to see my entire screen?
Only the jam.
Only the jam. Great. So now what happens is, so is this mux2 concept clear? We folded the memory once and we got to mux2. Now there are two words in every row, and to be able to give an output, we need to use the lowest bit to decipher which of the two words have to be used. Is this thing clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now Let us say the user had a requirement where even this was not sufficient, where even MUX2 would lead to a very skewed aspect ratio. It already is skewed, is it not? 16K rows and just 64 columns. Instead of the ratio of 1000, the ratio is still 500. Not a good ratio to work with. Am I right? The bit line capacitance is still much larger than the word line capacitance. Are you able to see this? Hello?
So what do you mean by selecting the lowest bit? I mean,
So when I folded this thing, what I said was that every row now has two words, word 0, word 1. The next row had word 2, word 3, and so on.
yes.
Now, let us say we only had a 4-word memory, so there were only 2 address bits, A0 and A1. Which of the 2 address bits will you use to select the row now?
So either A0 or A1.
Is it either A0 or A1? Let us look at the addresses 0001, 1011. So which one would you use to select the row?
Okay. For row, sir, we would use either 0 or 1 in that case.
दोबारा से बोलो.
So
Which
for
address bit would you use to select the row?
MSB.
yes, sir. MSB.
MSB, because MSB is common in the row.
Yes, sir.
Which address bit will you use to select the column?
LSB.
The LSB. That is why I said A0 is used to select the column in the MUX.
Okay, sir.
Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So now I say that MUX2 is not sufficient because even now the aspect ratio is 256 or 5:2. No, 256 हो गया aspect ratio अब भी. So what do? We say let us do one more fold. When I do one more fold, there are 4 words per row, and I call this as MUX4. What is the aspect ratio now? How many number of rows? Actually, not 256. 16K words हैं, so you have
4K. Sorry, 8K.
yeah, 32K words कहते ना हमने.
हाँ तो
8K. So 8K rows, and how many columns?
128.
128. So the aspect ratio is still not good. What I can do? I can do one more fold. Rows would reduce to 4K, columns to 256. So this is what is called as MUX, where we change. Now what is happening? The aspect ratio of the memory is changing from 1:1000 to a much better aspect ratio. Finally, you would want a squarish, physically squarish memory, so that the capacitance of the word line and the bit line is kind of matched. Is this fine? Any questions on the MUX?
so aspect ratio is rows divided by columns or columns divided by row? Oh, what did
It's rows by columns, but doesn't matter. If you rotate the cut, it will become columns by rows.
yes.
Is
Sir,
that okay?
in case we go on folding and folding, then the mux would become, sir, too large. Isn't that a problem?
So if you end up coming to a very cigar kind of a cut like this, that would also be a problem. So that is why I said we want to go to a squarish aspect ratio. At least physically the cut should look like a square. Is that fine?
Yes.
So let me share the PPT then. So going to the 60 cell, what is this? It's already written there, but what is this?
It's a latch.
This is a simple SR latch, set reset latch, where you have a set signal and a reset signal. This is not what you would use in a memory. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Why do you not use this in a memory?
So we don't have a clock pulse basically.
Yes, so this doesn't have a clock. So what we do is we clock this SR latch, and what this becomes is a kind of a what do you say? This becomes a clocked SR latch, or a how do you put it?
So this would be a
Master slave config, master and slave like clock part is the. Could we
Yeah,
look
this
at?
is just one part of the storage element. This is one storage element, the most basic storage element, a a synchronous storage element. You can call it like that.
Sir, I think it is called a gated latch, like that.
This is a clogged latch. A gated latch is something different. But let us say that this is the smallest storage element, clogged storage element that you can have. A flip-flop would still have two latches in it, the master latch and the slave latch. We're not going that way. We're just saying that this is a clogged storage element, the smallest clogged storage element. Is that okay? Hello? आज क्या है? आज बहुत शांति है. You are not responding. What is happening? Because if you don't respond, I will either move very, very fast, or I will not move at all. What do you want?
So we'll move. We'll ask questions and that.
I'm sorry?
So we'll move with you. At a better pace, not high, not too high, and not too.
So to be able to do that, I need an acknowledgement from you. You guys have to respond.
Yes.
If you don't respond, I will wait. It becomes very slow. Or I will stop asking, which means it will become very fast.
Yes, sir.
Do we like an interactive class at all?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then why are you not interacting? Okay.
So generally, sir, when we apply a clock, sir, a latch becomes a flip flop. So, sir, why wouldn't it be a flip flop?
Is this a flip-flop?
Sir, we can say it to be a SR flip flop, like.
A flip-flop would have a master and a slave, no?
Yes, sir.
Is there a second latch here?
No, sir.
So this is not a flip-flop.
Okay, sir.
So, well, this is not really a D flip-flop, but this is a D latch. We can say that if we, instead of doing set reset, we say that this is we just put an inverter between S and R, and we say this is a D latch, not really a D flip-flop. I would want to correct this. Okay. Now, if this is the D latch, how would you implement this kind of a D latch in static CMOS? Can you just implement this D latch in static CMOS on your notebooks? I assume all of you have a notebook and a pen with you. Can you please do that? How many transistors are you able to design this D latch with? Minimum number of transistors.
Can you go to the figure again?
Sir, 18?
18. Can it be lesser? Can you do some complex gate sharing, something like that?
Okay, sir, I will try.
It's
Yeah.
coming out to be 14, I guess.
Others? One is saying 18, another is saying 14. We want to go to 6 transistor cell.
Sir, we can connect to back inverters.
We can connect back to back. Oh, if you know the 6 transistor cell, you can always say that. But we want to arrive that from a D latch, because when we go there from the D latch, we see what the complexity is in a different way.
So I can, sir, actually, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, like you have the NAND and everything. I mean, you could have a tri-state kind of condition, right? I mean, you could control the clock and the input together in a tri-state. So I mean,
Yeah, implement.
yeah, just a minute.
You want to have a data latch, clock data latch. So till now, best transistor count we are arriving at is 14. बाकी लोग try कर भी रहे हैं. I should see some numbers either pouring in the chat window, or you should open up and speak out. 18 transistors. How many of you are with 18 transistors? You can do a +1 in the chat window. Okay. How many with 14? So you can do a -1. 14s can do -1.
So earlier I had 14, now I'm coming out to 10.
चलो पहले 14 देखते हैं अभी. 14s are -1. Okay, so this is something which you would see when you have 14 transistors. Swapnil, did you have something similar?
Yes, sir. Earlier, like I was able to reduce it to 14 from 18.
So what is done is we've merged the NAND gate and the NOR there into one set of complex gates which are back-to-back coupled. Okay, and this is what you would get. Can you check the functionality and confirm that this is right?
Yes, sir.
Is the functionality correct?
Yeah.
No, sir. I mean, I mean, like continuing from what we did in last semester. I mean, like we looked at how the upper transistor will affect the output at Q when D signal goes, and like there would be a false condition here occurring in one case.
So this is a pure CMOS circuit. We do not have any float condition or anything like that over here. This is a pure CMOS circuit. अभी तो हम मेमोरी की तरफ बढ़े भी नहीं हैं. You will see this will give you the functionality of the D latch. Is that okay? So now consider a memory. We know that in a memory, so clock for a memory cell is something like word line. Am I right? So in a memory, if you have 1K rows, of those 1K rows, at any point of time, only one row will be selected. Hello?
Right, sir.
So what that means is that the remaining 1023 rows will have clock as 0. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. There was a question? Okay. So if clock is 0 in 1023 row, then only in one row you have clock equal to 1. What that essentially means is that for almost all the cells, this VDD is actually available here. Only in one set of cells, it is not available there. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
But we have 4 transistors to control this. I want to go to a high density design. Can I do something? Can I simply remove these 4 transistors and directly connect VDD here? I will save so much of area. Can I do that? Hello? What will happen if I do that?
That one case in which we don't have to provide VDD.
See, उसमें भी क्या है? See, in that one case also, when CK is equal to 1, let us say. In that one case also, when CK is equal to 1, so these two devices are off. D and D, the other PMOSes are connected to D and D bar. So one
Yes,
of
sir.
these will also be off.
Yes, sir.
And the other one will be on. So उधर भी यहाँ तो VDD आना ही है. The VDD has to come here. But on this side where the PMOS was off, the VDD was not coming. If we remove all these 4 transistors to save area, see they are PMOSes, they are larger in size, and you remove 4 of them, so significant reduction in area. All that you lose is that for one set of memory cells, for one set of storage elements, there is a VDD coming here where it should not have come. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So if VDD was not supposed to come here, what was happening? So earlier when D was 1, this path would shut down and VDD would not come here, and this would discharge the Q bar node. But now what we are saying is that we've removed the PMOSes, so VDD is available here. VDD is available here and it is trying to maintain Q at 1. So what we are saying is that now this stack of D and clock should be stronger than the drive strength of this particular PMOS. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
So when I remove those 4 transistors, I actually save a lot of area, but my circuit is no longer CMOS. Now the ability to write into the latch depends on sizing of these devices. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So now what we do is, see, are you able to see that this is essentially an inverter? And this is another inverter?
Yes, sir.
I can organize this in a slightly different way. I can place these devices in a slightly different way so they look like an inverter and something like that. Is that okay? I'll just read on.
Yes, sir.
From here to here. And what I've also done is, instead of putting clock in the bottom, I've put clock in the top. I can do that. It doesn't change any logic anywhere.
Yes, sir.
So I have this kind of a structure now. Now, do we realize that there is an array that we talk about when we talk about an SRAM or a memory cell? That all these transistors will be organized as an array.
Yes, sir.
So we will have an array of these kind of cells there. So if we say this is a 2x2 storage element, we say this is one word, one word in this direction. I'm storing 2 bits of one word, and This is, you may say, mux2, or this is 2 bits of one word. Are you with me? Also, do you see that these inverters, the way the memory array is organized, can be shared across columns? Can we do that?
Sir, can you
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
sharing across the column?
I'm sorry?
Sir, what you said, sharing across columns, sir, can you please repeat?
Yeah. What I said was that instead of keeping inverters in there, 4 inverters in there, and saying that each one gets an independent data, D0, D1, D2, D3, I would share them across columns. And because at any point of time, only one of the word lines will be selected, one of the clocks. So CK1, 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 CK1. And this is another word line. This will not be selected. So since only one set of word lines will be selected, I can share the data inverters across columns. So this D1 and D1 bar can then be traveled across columns. I can do that now. This saves 2 more transistors from the 14 transistors that we had. Hello?
So means D1 and CK1 valid transistors we are sharing in the entire throughout the column of an array, right, sir?
No, we are sharing only D1 across the columns, and CK we are sharing across the row. See, this is CK1, 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 CK1. This is CK2, 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 CK2. This is D1 and this is D2. So across columns, I am sharing one data, but across rows, I am sharing one word line, one clock.
Sir, if I talk about a word line, so word line में तो sir same data होना चाहिए ना, D1 across the word line.
क्यों? आपका अगर मैं 64 बिट्स का एक वर्ड बनाता हूँ, तो सारी बिट्स में एक ही डेटा होता है क्या?
हाँ, नो सर. तो सर बिट वाला तो कॉलम डिसाइड करेगा ना.
तो तभी तो मैंने डेटा को कॉलम पे शेयर करा.
ओके.
Is that okay?
सर ये जो हम CK1 CK2 सब अलग अलग दे रहे हैं, तो क्लॉक तो सर एक ही रहेगी ना सर?
अभी अभी हमने क्या कहा, मेमोरी में बहुत सारी वर्ड लाइंस होती हैं. तो इतने सारे वर्ड्स हैं, हम सारे वर्ड्स को एक साथ तो एक्टिवेट नहीं करेंगे ना, हम तो एक वर्ड को ही एक्टिवेट करेंगे.
ठीक.
तो हर वर्ड के लिए अलग क्लॉक चाहिए मुझे.
ठीक
है ना? सो यहां तक क्लियर है? फिर आगे बढ़ेंगे.
यस.
सो अब हमें ये दिख रहा है कि हर सेल के अंदर ये एक NMOS एग्जिस्ट करता है, D1 बार वाला, जो है वहां पे. लेकिन एक्चुअल में इन सब में, इस कॉलम में एक ही क्लॉक आने वाली है, एक ही वर्ड सिलेक्ट होने वाला है. तो बाकी सारे जो हैं वो यूजलेस हैं, वो बस पड़े हैं वहां पे. उनके अंदर से कोई करंट नहीं जाने वाला. कैन आई शेयर देम ऑल्सो? कैन यू अलाउ मी टू शेयर दैट ऑल्सो?
Yes, sir.
So as soon as we do that, so this D1 transistor, this we call as write driver. Okay. And do you realize that we now have a 60 cell where the clocks are common, and this node is called as bit line, and this node is called as word line. But this is eventually clock, and bit line was the internal node of that CK and data stack. Are you able to see this?
सर राइट ड्राइवर तो आईओ वाले पार्ट में होता था. आई मीन
हाँ.
सर सिंपलीफाइड.
तो ये array से बाहर कर दिया ना हमने. अब तो array is like this only. This part will come in the IO.
एंड सर हमने ये जो शेयरिंग करी है तो लाइक डोमिनो लॉजिक में जब हम फुट वाले इन्वर्टर को आई मीन फुट वाले जो एनमॉस फुटर पे जो एनमॉस होता था, सो जब हम उसे शेयर करते थे तो उसकी वजह से चार्ज शेयरिंग सर एक मतलब इशू आता था, एक ड्रॉबैक था उसका कि हम अपने फुटर वाले एनमॉस को शेयर नहीं कर सकते थे मतलब लॉन्ग चेन्स में। तो सर हमारा तो यहाँ पे मेमोरी सेल तो मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा चेन्स होने वाली हैं इसमें, तो सर वो वाला भी तो इशू आएगा इसमें।
See, you're getting confused there. वहाँ पे long chains के अंदर there was a delay that was happening between two different stages, and you would have erroneous data sampled in the later stages. ठीक है, यहाँ पे आपने एक ही वर्ड लाइन सिलेक्ट करनी है एक पर्टिकुलर साइकिल में, and the only challenge is that now this internal node which was initially just a small stack, this was CK and this was D, this was just say, let us say a total of 1 femtofarad of capacitance. This internal node is now no longer shared like it used to be. Like in an AND topology, you can share the source and drain region. Now you cannot do that. Now this internal node is actually split open, wide open, and this may have a huge capacitance, 100 femtofarad, 200 femtofarad, or still higher, 1 picofarad, and so on. That is what has happened. And therefore, where in a small NAND gate you would have sized, this pass gate, as we will come to it, this would be called as pass gate. This clock transistor, this may be sized as something like 120 nanometer by 60 nanometer, but this one you would size it as 1 micron now. So you will size this up very, very big so that it can handle and it can discharge this big capacitance now. That is why I'm no longer calling it as one small device. I'm calling it as write driver, and we will put it in the IO region. Is that okay?
Yes sir.
आगे बढ़े? Any questions still here? Okay. So this is our 6T cell, and how does this operate? To operate this cell, we need to give it a clock. The word line has to go 1. But even before the word line goes 1, we pre-charge bit line and bit line bar to 1. Okay. Then the side which was storing a 0 will discharge. Are you with me? Are you able to see this? That the side which was storing 0 will discharge some current because this word line has turned on. And you will measure the difference, you will sense this difference in the IO region, and you will say that I have stored a 0 on this particular cell. Any questions in the read operation? Hello?
So this discharging will be sensed.
The differential in the bit line and bit line bar will be sensed.
Okay.
Hello? There will be a sense amplifier which will say that this bit line has gone lower than bit line bar, and it will therefore give an output 0, let us say. Is the read operation clear? At the memory cell level. So we already saw the read operation at the memory level last time in the last class. Is the read operation at memory cell level clear? Okay.
सर
Yes.
सर हम लोग जब वो साइजिंग की बात करते हैं कि पास गेट और पुल डाउन के बीच में, तब हम लोग सेल स्टेबिलिटी को मेन क्राइटेरिया रखते हैं कि व्हाट विल बी द पर्पस. यस सर, माय क्वेश्चन इज यहाँ पे भी तो सर वो कंडीशन होना चाहिए, अदरवाइज तो.
Yeah, we'll just see that. I'm just talking about operation of the cell now. We'll talk about the figures of merit and sizing criteria in just a little while.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So how does the write operation happen? Again, you need a clock, but now this time let us say because it was storing a 0 and 1, we now want to store a 0 on this side. So what we do is we take bit line bar to 0 and bit line to 1. Now when word line goes on, this one starts to discharge. Okay, and after this one discharges, the 0 on the other side starts to charge up. The 0 starts to charge up first through the pass gate, but then finally through the pull-up device. Okay, and consequently what you've done, you have written 1 into this particular cell now. Where there was 0 earlier, you've changed the contents to 1. This is how the write operation happens. So in a write operation, in a 60 memory cell, you essentially write a 0 and the memory cell itself writes the 1. You cannot really write 1 from just this pass gate because this is an NMOS. NMOS will not transfer a good 1. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. आगे बढ़े. So, given that this is a memory cell, let us look at what are the various figures of merit of a memory cell. So, what is the most important figure of merit of a memory cell? We've done so much work to ensure that figure of merit first. So, what is the most important figure of merit of a memory cell?
Area.
Sir, size, area.
Area. See, we had 14 transistors, we reduced it to 6. We said we have a ratioed logic design now. We know that there is going to be some complexity. There are capacitances inside the storage that we need to take care of when we are writing into the cell and so on. We are ready to take so much of headache only to reduce the area. So area is actually the most important figure of merit. However, there are other important figures of merit which are electrical in nature. These electrical figures of merit are listed here. So what is cell current? What do you understand by cell current? Intuitively?
How much current do we pass so that we can write, like how much current to charge?
Cell current actually refers to the kind of read current that the cell can have to discharge the bit line. And it is governed by only 2 devices because other devices have no role to play in this discharge current. Are you able to see this? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So how would you want to size the pass gate and the pull-up devices then? If read current, so what do you want? You want this cell current to be large or small? Hello?
Means if it is, it will be a large, so the read operation will be faster.
So you want it to be large?
Yes, sir.
So if you want large read current, how would you size the pass gate and the pull down?
Means the pull down should be large.
Pull down should be large. What about pass gate? Pass gate should also be large, no?
Yes, sir.
It's a series resistance. Unless you reduce both the resistances, the effective resistance will not reduce. So you want pass gate and pull down to be large. Okay. From the first figure of merit, which is cell current.
So
now let us look. Yes.
So actually, I was getting confused. Like, why cell current is determined only by PG and PD? I mean, like during the write operation, the pull-up will also charge the side storing 0 to make it 1.
So that is considered in a different figure of merit. So that figure of merit will be something to write. So you can also call this as read current. Is that okay? you're not even looking at write for now. You're only
So
looking
basically,
at read operation.
this is just to specify that how much current is needed to discharge that differential bit line wala jo we get. So
Yes.
that high
How
bit
quickly
line.
can I create how quickly can I discharge the bit line so that I can trigger the sense amplifier?
Okay.
So this directly determines or impacts the speed of the memory cell. Okay. Now, what is bitline leakage? What do you understand by bitline leakage? At least from the term, you can tell me something. The name itself.
Unintentionally, if the bit is leaking or we are losing data, like the charge is leaking.
Unintentionally, the charge is leaking. Why unintentionally? If
So
there
like
is,
some
if suppose
leakage
if I have
current.
stored a 0 and a 1 here, and word line is 0, then I know there will be some leakage. Is it not? So unintentional क्या है? ये तो डिवाइस का बिहेवियर है. Unwanted है, but unintentional तो नहीं है.
Yes, sir. Ideally, we do not want this.
Yeah, you do not want it, so it is unwanted, but it is not unintentional. You stored some data there. That was the intent. When you store some data there, some leakage would happen. That is what you do not want.
Okay.
So, do you realize that if I have 1K rows, and I want to read one particular cell, suppose I want to read this one cell, all the remaining rows, the bit cells there who are sharing the bit line are in a leakage mode because they are storing something in it, and that whatever they are storing, based on that they will discharge either the bit line or the bit line bar through their leakage. Are you able to see this? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So this is a bit not clear. Like if only one word line will be active, and we have only one word line active, and during that time we are not making other word lines active. So that is not like quite visible, like how that leakage will take place through this
If the
bit
word line
line.
is 0, if this word line is 0,
Yes, sir. Yes,
I am
sir.
storing a 1 and a 0 here, let us say.
Yes, sir.
Bit lines were pre-charged to 1.
Yes.
But this word line is 0. There will be some leakage current.
Okay. Okay. Through this bit line.
The bit line will leak through the pass gate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
And there are rows minus 1 such cells. So if it is 1K rows, then 1023 cells are simply leaking.
Right, sir. Right.
Only one cell is offering read current. 1023 cells are only leaking. So what happens? Your discharging bit line discharges like this, and the bit line which was supposed to be held at VDD, that also discharges. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
So if you wanted 50 millivolts of differential, which could have appeared here, now that 50 millivolts of differential will appear much later, because the other bit line is also discharging because of bit line leakage. Are you able to see this? That is what I mean by saying that it limits the speed of differential creation. Because had there been no leakage, my differential was created only by read current. I could have triggered the sense amplifier here itself. But now because of leakage, my bit line is discharged. The other bit line is also discharging.
So?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Actually, I mean, like, though the leakage would discharge the other bit line, but the bit line, but the bit line which was meant to discharge, wouldn't it discharge even faster now?
Why?
I mean, I mean,
How would it
because,
discharge faster?
because the
In
other
fact,
1023 cells would leak it other, like वो भी उसमें leakage add करेंगे और वो भी
no,
उसको discharge
वो तो
faster.
उसमें one sync कर रहे हैं ना. In the worst case, if I have stored if I'm reading this particular cell and I have stored 0 and 1 over here, in the worst case, all other cells will store 1 on this side and 0 on the other side. Isn't that the worst case? So other cells would actually start to leak the 1 on the bit line after the bit line discharges to some level. They will also delay the read operation actually.
अच्छा, so basically the right side in a way would actually delay the मतलब जो दूसरी बिट लाइन होगी उसको भी डिले कर देंगे, और जो लेफ्ट साइड वाला साइड है वो तो आपका हाई रहेगा ही रहेगा, मतलब उसका डिले स्लो रहेगा क्योंकि ओके 0 वाली से सिर्फ डिस्चार्ज हो रहा है वो.
Yes. Are you able to see this? See, whenever you design any circuit, you have to look at the worst case. How will it operate in the worst case? In the best case, yes, all the cells would be storing 0. Then it would help, all this bitline leakage would help in creating differential. But that is not where you would tune your sense amplifier arrival now. You would tune your sense amplifier arrival for the worst case. Is it not?
Sir?
Yes.
Right wala bit line is also set to 1 and left wala bit line is also set to 1 and word line is 0. So both these pass gates have a 0 at their gates. So they are off.
Off.
So, sir, we left wala transistor has 1 already stored. So you, sir, how these both bit lines are discharging? I mean, one is discharging, that is fine, but another one, how it is discharging?
So, do you want to consider this particular cell as the real cell or the leaking cell? First, tell me this. Is this the real cell which you want to read or the leaking cell? Then I will explain more. You decide.
Sir,
so you want that I should consider this as the leaking cell?
Yes, sir.
So let us say it is the leaking cell and it stores a 1 and a 0 over here. This leaking cell is placed here, let us say. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Now, this particular bit line, the one on the left side, it will discharge because this word line is 1 and it stored a 0. It will discharge. It will discharge like this.
Yes, sir. Yes, this will discharge, right?
There is this other bit line over here. Word line went 1, but the internal node was also 1. So it will not discharge because of this particular cell. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
However, now look at this top cell there. थोड़ा सा detail में. The word line is off, but there will be leakage here.
Yes, sir.
And there are 1023 subcells.
So they all will leak.
They all will leak. They will make it like this.
Yes, sir.
This is what is bitline leakage. Is that okay? Is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Now it is clear. Thank you, sir.
So this bitline leakage essentially depends on the pass gate, because this device is already on. You know, to store a 0 over here, this was already 1. This pull down is already on. The only thing that this leakage depends on is the pass gate. So to reduce this leakage, what do? To reduce this leakage, what would you want to do?
Make the pass gate smaller.
You will want to make the pass gate smaller. So अभी थोड़ी देर पहले पिछली स्लाइड में हम कह रहे थे कि पास गेट और पुल डाउन दोनों को बड़ा कर दो, बट अब हम कह रहे हैं कि पास गेट को छोटा रखो भाई. Keep the pass gate, make the pass gate small. You cannot really make it large. Okay? So PG device should be resistive when it is off, so it should be small. Now let us come to another figure of merit, which is called cell stability. So what is cell stability? This is a 60 cell. When I read into this cell, what happens? Some current will flow. for any flow of current to happen, what happens? There has to be some, so this was initially storing a 0, but if this continues to store only a 0, this pull down will not flow any current through it. Are you able to see this? If VDS of the pass gate of the pull down is equal to 0, there will be 0 current. To have any current flow through the pass gate, what do you need? We need this VDS to go higher. You remember IDS, VDS characteristics?
Yes, sir.
So if VDS is 0, current is 0. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So what are you doing? You stored a 0, but now you say is 0 we want to raise the 0 a bit. So you're kind of injecting noise into your circuit, into your memory cell. So during read operation, what can happen? During read operation, the memory cell contents can get corrupted. Do you want this to happen? Do you want to corrupt the memory cells during read, memory cell contents during read?
No, sir.
So that is where we talk about this particular figure of merit, which is called as cell stability. And if you will notice, the cell stability will largely depend on, again, pass gate and pull down only. And why this? Because they essentially form a potential divider. There is a resistance of the pass gate and there is a resistance of the pull down. And in between them, there is this potential divider. So this is VDD, this is ground, and there is a resistance here, And you want the node over here to rise, but not rise so much that it would corrupt the contents. So how would you want to size the pass gate and the pull down?
Pull down should be smaller in size. I mean, should have less resistance. So it should be larger in size.
Yes, pull down should have less resistance. Because if PD is more resistive, then Q bar would rise above VDD by 2. So we want to keep pull down to be much larger than the pass gate. However, if you keep pull down to be very, very large also, that is not a good idea. Why is it not a good idea?
Then it will affect our read operation. Current will not flow through the pull down.
You are making the pull down very large, so current would still flow. In fact, it will result in a smaller bump.
So the internal node which we wanted to be at some potential, that potential will reduce.
See, ideally, yeah, that potential will reduce, so the cell should become more stable.
Okay.
See, we wanted it to be 0 ideally. Now to sink some current, it rises a bit. If I keep a very large PD, this will rise only very little. So that is a good thing to happen. What is the problem with that? Why I cannot really put a very, very big pull down there?
So during writing, we would need to charge it very large.
Okay, something better? See, first thing, आप बड़ा device use करोगे तो area बढ़ेगा ना? We will lose area. Area is the most important figure of merit, is it not? Hello?
Yes,
So,
sir.
additionally, look at this inverter. We will soon see that this pull-up will need to be small. We are saying that this pull-down will make it to be very large. So for this inverter, the threshold voltage at which it will flip will be like this. In fact, it will flip like this. Halka sa, you just change the input a little bit and the output will go to 0. It is not an inverter which has a trip point at VDD by 2. If you make it very, very large, it will start to trip at very small bump values also. So while you have reduced the bump over here, it can still flip the cell and you will enter into a dead zone. You will end up corrupting the memory cell. So you want the PD to be large, but not too large because it impacts area and it can also lead to an error. Is this clear? So we want pass gate to be more resistive than the pull down, and pull down to be a large size device, but not very, very large also. Is this thing clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, see, a little while back we were talking about the Ryzen chip of the Ryzen processor of AMD, and we said that it has 8 megabytes of L3 cache, 4 megabytes of L2 cache, and so on. So, do you think all that 8 megabytes of L3 cache will be accessed in every cycle? Or every other cycle, or every 100th cycle, or every 1000th cycle also? No, no. So a large part of this on-chip memory is actually off, and it is simply leaking. And that is not a good thing to happen, because leakage is always wastage of power. So to reduce leakage, voltage of those arrays which are not being accessed is reduced. The minimum voltage at which a memory cell can still retain its data is called as retention voltage. It is a very important figure of merit because it defines the overall power budget of any memory cell. Is this point clear?
Yes.
What do you think the retention voltage will depend on?
Sizing of the PMOS.
Sizing of the PMOS. That's it. So during retention, which parts of the circuits are off?
Pass transistors.
It does not depend on pass gates for sure because they are off. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So it actually depends on the two latches only, the two inverters in the latch only. Because a pair, either one PMOS or the other one would be on, and either one NMOS or the other one would be on. So the other one is leaking, and that is what it depends on. And it is a measure of intrinsic stability of the latch. Okay. But if we are able to go to a lower retention leakage, we can actually reduce leakage retention levels, and we can actually reduce leakage exponentially, because subthreshold currents are exponentially dependent on VDS. Okay. What do you think is write margin? What would write margin measure? Hello? What would write margin measure?
Sir, since my pass gate is stronger compared to the pull up, so even if I apply by keeping WL at full VDD, even if I apply less VDS in the pass gate, and if I mean the amount of VDS that I have to apply, so that I am still able to change the data at that BLTI node or BLFI node.
Great. So what we are talking about it is that to be able to write into this cell, what kind of margin do I have on the bit line? And I want to really take bit line to 0. But if I do not take it to 0, what kind of margin do I have? Or looking at it the other way, if my pass gate is slightly resistive, in the sense that if I do not take word line to full VDD, but I take bit line to ground, then what is the margin I have in terms of what level of word line will still be able to write into the memory cell? So this is a measure of writability of the cell. And what do you think it depends on? It depends on these 4 transistors. Why? First, you suppose you want to write a 0 here. So no, you're intending to write a you're intending to write a 0 here. So you want to discharge this, but this pull-up device will stop you from discharging this node. Now, the strength of this pull-up device is dependent on the bump that you have generated on this other side. So during the write operation, these 4 devices come into picture, and they define the write margin or the writability of the memory cell. Is this part clear? Hello?
So when we say that we are in the write operation, we essentially go from the like we write a 0 on the BL side, and then the BL bar becomes 1, suppose. So write margin is exactly like how much should BL be discharged, right, rather than giving it a full swing to 0. If I give it at 0.2 also rather than the full 0, so will I still be able to write 0
Yes.
or 1 on the?
Yes. So it is the kind of writability of the cell. Kitna margin hai? How much margin do I have to be able to write into the cell? Then I would still be able to write into the cell. Is that okay? So another figure of merit linked to write. So for this, what do you want? You want the stack of pass gate and write driver to be stronger than the pull up. This we already discussed when we were talking about removing the top 2 PMOSes from the D latch. You remember that? This we already discussed. What we also now want is that PD should be reasonably resistive so that the bump over here is high, so that this PMOS becomes weaker. So for the stability purpose, we wanted PD to be large, but now for writability, we want PD to be small. Small also means better area. So how do you want to size the PD then?
Sir, I'm not able to understand the last point over here. I mean, like.
Yeah, so actually इस point को समझ to be able to understand this point, I will actually be giving you an assignment today. So this will become very, very obvious then. So what happens is that, let us say these 2 devices were not there and I had a full 0 over here. So what would happen? This PMOS will be fully on, and it would prevent the pass gate and write driver to write into the memory cell. However, when this PMOS is not really driven to ground, but is actually driven by this kind of a structure, this potential divider, then when word line goes on, this bit line was at VDD, there's a potential divider formed. This node will rise. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So when this node rises, this PMOS actually becomes weaker. Are you able to see this? So the writability of my cell improves. To improve the writability of the cell, we need this device to be resistive so that this bump can be higher. Is it clearer now?
Okay, so we want the value at that right side should be higher enough. I mean, basically it should not discharge close to. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So while we are talking about only 6 transistors in a memory cell, do you realize it is a very complex thing to design? And we will be designing one in this course.
Yes, sir.
So what is also obvious is that writability of the cell is inverse proportional to its stability. If the cell is very stable, then it will be less writable. If it is very writable, it will be less stable. Now, This is another figure of merit linked to the right operation is called as write time. And what does this depend on? This actually depends on the time it takes to charge the internal node to 1. So what we want is that first we should be able to write a 0 over here, and then we should be able to write a 1 on this place. So PG has to be fast so that it discharges very fast. PU has to be weak. However, this PU has to be strong so that I can quickly write a 1 also. So write time depends on the size of pass gate and the size of pull-up. So you want PU to be weak, but you want PU to be fast also. Weak so that writability improves, fast so that write time improves. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So another important figure of merit is leakage. So what we saw earlier was only bit line leakage. But now we're talking about leakage on the whole. And do you realize that even on devices have leakage, junction leakage for that matter? So to reduce leakage, all these 6 devices have to be as small as possible. Additionally, to reduce the subthreshold leakage, we would want to use large length devices. To reduce gate leakage in technologies which had polysilicon and silicon dioxide gates, we also would want to use thick gate oxide devices so that gate leakage is also reduced. Is that okay? Hello? Leakage should be simple to understand. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we are essentially saying is that to size the PG, we know that SNM is better when PG is smaller than PD. Higher PG, larger PG means larger drive current, but also a larger leakage. So finally, what you say is that pass gate should be smaller than pull down. To size the pull down, we want that pull down should be large so that SNM is good. But large pull down also means larger area. Also, smaller pull down improves write operation. Since 70% of chip area is memory, and area is a very important concern, pull down is ensured to be the strongest device in a memory cell, but it is still small. You cannot keep a pull down of 1 micron. Pull down is the strongest device, but still it's a small device. Okay. Pull up, on the other hand, is the weakest device in a memory cell. Why? Because SNM is essentially handled by a cell ratio. For writability, you want the pull-up to be weak. So you essentially keep pull-up to be the smallest device. Effectively, what we are saying is that in a memory cell, pull-up is weaker than pass gate, which is weaker than PD. The ratio between these two is called as cell ratio, and the ratio between these two is called as pull-up ratio. Okay. Now I will post an assignment in classroom where I would want you to evaluate the memory cell, these 6 transistors, to arrive at an optimal cell ratio and optimal pull-up ratio for the memory cell. So I would want you to do some current equations writing and Kirchhoff's law solving and all that to arrive at what is the value of bump that can happen at the internal node, and how do you define the writability of the memory cell. A sample of that is already available in Rabi, so you can use that that sample in chapter 12 of Rabia, I think, and you have to do this analysis for the memory cell. Is that okay? That is the assignment. I will post the detailed assignment in the classroom today.
It's a written thing.
Yes, you have to scan it
Okay.
and submit it in classroom subsequently.
Okay.
Is that okay? So this is theoretical analysis. This is a theoretical analysis that I want you to do.
Okay, sir.
Okay? Because what we do in the next class will depend on how well you do this assignment. If you do not do this assignment well, you will get completely confused in the next class. Is it fine? So it's best if you do this assignment over the weekend only. So I will give you a slightly longer deadline, but it is better for you to do this within the weekend.
Okay, sir.
Is that okay? So with that, we end today's class. If there are any questions, I know we are just in the nick of time. We're already at 12. If there are any questions, you can ask me. Or else we close.
Sir, actually, what are the timings of your office hours?
They're on Mondays, 11:30 to 12:30.
Okay, from 11:30. Okay.
Yeah.
In the last class, I think we discussed about 11 to 12.
No. I didn't want to keep it 11 to 12 because some of you may have a class from 10:30 to 12.
So we are also having RM class from 12. So it's
Yes, sir. So it is better means if you keep it.
So does no one have a class from 11 to 12? From 10:30 to 12 on Mondays? Okay.
So I have my TA duty.
Yeah, that was the reason why I wanted to keep an overlap there.
Means in this way, means maximum of the MTech students will not be able to attend.
Why? RM class is from 12 onwards, no?
Yes.
So you can join at 11:30, ask your questions.
Okay.
If you want, we can keep it 11:15 to 12:15 because just Anushri has a clash, but a few other students may also have a clash. We can keep 11:15 to 12:15, not an issue. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. So we will keep it from 11:15 to 12:15 then. Okay? Anything else, guys? So great. If there's nothing else, let's close
Hello,
the session.
sir.
Yes.
So Samiksha here. Sir, me and Kritika want to talk to you for 5 minutes after the class.
Is it related to MDT?
No, sir. Actually, for capstone related.
Okay. I actually have another review happening starting at 12.
Okay. So just 2 minutes if.
Yeah, the students will take a lot of time to exit.
Okay, sir. It's okay.
So if you can talk in front of others, it's fine. Please start.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, the company called Cadence is coming for the this 11 months internship. So, sir, I wanted to ask that you were saying that you mailed the AB sir yesterday. So, what was his reply? We just wanted to know because we wanted to write the updated CGP in that.
Yeah. So he said that we should be able to do something within the next few days. So let us say I'm after him. We should be able to get something out there.
Okay.
So, sir, can we write the updated CGP in our resume?
How do you know what the grade is if it does not appear in your academic ERP?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
You yourself had placed a request to me. So if you want me to consider that request, you have to give me time.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Sure, sir.
Else you
Sure,
can
sir.
use the earlier one that I sent. That is fine.
Okay, sir.
Thank
Okay,
you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Swapnil, the class is over.